So, what are the best AI writing tools, Daniel?
So this is amazing because there's so many out there all of a sudden, and we've discussed this before. But the key thing is we've used a few. They are most of them based on this same kind of engine, this artificial intelligence engine that's called GPT-3, and it based on NLP, natural language processing. And it basically allows to process and create text. Okay, so this thing came out and it allows anyone to go in and for like 0.000 whatever it is pence to create words and write things and so on. So lots of people have come along and they have created interfaces to go on these things and they create content. We play with loads. The one that I love is Jasper. So jasper.ai. We've used it fairly extensively. We'll include a link which we'll show on the page that gives you an access to that free for 7 days. And I think you get 10,000 words for free with that as well. But have a play around with it. And if, for example, I go in and I type in the name of a model or a topic, it will write stuff for me. A couple of caveats. It's really good at writing, first of all. But there are some challenges around this that it sometimes gets it wrong. And you put a topic in, it will write stuff and you go, oh, that sounds brilliant. And you'll stick it into something and it's just all completely wrong. It's got the wrong end of the stick completely about the whole thing. But it opens up some challenges.
So are they ethical?
Yes, that's one of the key questions. So I like to show these if I'm lecturing. One of the places that I kind of lecture, the students, you can see their eyes lighting up, going, oh, this is going to make my reports a lot easier to write. The thing is, the problem is, I don't know if you've used one of these tools because, for example, you can get it to write something. It's not just copying this from somewhere else. It's creating something new. And there's a button that goes through and actually does a plagiarism check to see if this exists anywhere else in the first place. And it probably come back and say, no, this is completely original. You can go through and use this. So give you an unethical approach. You could take someone else's book. You could stick it into this tool. You could select it section by section, hit rewrite, and it will rewrite it. You won't be able to detect it was from that book, although it will say pretty much the same gist of things. And you could publish that. And there's people doing that on Amazon already. So don't do that. Okay. So are they ethical? You can use them in ethical ways. They can also be used in unethical ways, but the genie's not going back in the bottle. You know, they're out there already and they're kind of widely accessible.
So when or where or in what different contexts do you actually recommend using them?
Well, this is interesting because I think you've said to me, Kieran, before, use it to help with structure.
Augmenting what you're doing, and it's a shortcut. So it's got some brilliant tools in it it all comes down to templates. The brilliant tools for all sorts of different things. Like if you want to write search engine optimized titles and descriptions, you can do that. Then that could be really useful for a digital marketer. And I'm telling you now, if you ever get the opportunity to rewrite the titles and descriptions for multiple like e-commerce categories, it's painful. It's like eating your own feet. It really not good. Because you're literally having to write the same thing but different all of the time. And actually, this takes some of the pain out of that. I think it's brilliant for doing like a blog post outline.
Yeah, for structure and things like that, right?
Yeah, really, really good for that because that just gives you your key points. And actually, what I found doing that is you run one of those. It's like, oh yeah, of course I need to mention that and that. I hadn't thought of that. So it's just very like complete. It can also be quite good at writing longer form content, particularly Jasper.ai, I think is very, very good for that. And they've got the tools and they've structured it. What you do find, though, is you need to give it a fair bit of guidance.
It's a number of different prompts. It's not just one prompt, write an article on this. It's like work out what your paragraphs are, and use the structure, and then use it again.
And you need to know your subject well. Because it will go off piece and it will put in some quite random stuff. And like, what if you know it? It's like, that ain't right. So my guidance would be, like, if you're going to use this, use it on topics you're really solid on. Like, I wouldn't risk going out there with something completely new you know nothing about, because you're going to look like a right Charlie at the end of it. Yeah, it's not going to necessarily work out.
Yeah, and I've seen that showing up as well. In the academic world, there's a lot of worry about this, like how people are going to use it. And actually, it becomes pretty apparent. If you don't know what you're talking about, you can't use these tools.
Yeah.
So try out the free trial. It's a great tool to play around with. It's really worth understanding how they work, but you've got to learn how to use them like anything else, and it's there for augmenting, the skills that we already have.
Please subscribe for more videos like this and visit targetinternet.com for more free digital marketing resources.